Okay guys, so we managed to catch up with John Sinclair over in Edmonton. He's a faculty member of PTA Global, presenter, mentor and day-to-day personal trainer as well. And we wanted to discuss with him how he runs his business and how he runs his business differently. So we've got a few questions for you. John, how you doing, mate?
Great, buddy. Glad to be a part of this. Thanks for asking me.
Good, good. How's the weather? It's all snowy out there, or?
Still snowy. It's a little warm. It's actually unseasonably warm for us. It's usually like, minus 30 degrees Celsius. So right now it's been hovering above zero. So it's been a good day.
Okay, so it's going to be training people inside today then?
Yeah.
Okay, mate, we had a few questions for you. Obviously, we met at the IOM mentorship in October, which was fantastic. And we were discussing there how you train more than one client at one time. Can you just tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. Yeah, so out of kind of a need, I was finding that for maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, that I had kind of hit a ceiling with my income. And it's not that we really needed to have to make more money, but just out of necessity and the natural drive to want to do so. I knew that I had to shift my focus into more group personal training, and I had kind of dabbled in it a little bit, but it was more like 2 people at once, or a couple, like a husband and a wife, right?
Yeah.
And I just found that I was actually getting more and more exhausted. Like, I had just been doing so many one-on-one training sessions. I've been training for well over 10 years, and training 120 to 140 person, like one-on-one training sessions every month for the last 10 years. I was starting to get burnt out.
Yeah.
The reality was that I was starting to think, maybe I'm done with personal training. I am exhausted. So I actually was sitting on my couch one day, and actually the very couch I'm sitting on right now, and I'm sitting back having a cup of tea with the wife, and I said, you know what, I'm going to reach out to Michelle Delcourt, who, as we now know, the Institute of Motion, is the creator of Viper, and we were good friends. So I thought maybe I'd just talk to him a little bit about doing more presenting or some article writing or something that I could give back and maybe boost my enthusiasm for this training gig. Well, I talked to him and I talked to Richard Boyd, and Richard Boyd was the previous owner of PT on the Net.
Okay.
And at the time, he actually said to me, he goes, well, John, I don't own PT on the Net anymore, but we're actually starting something called PTA Global, a certification for personal trainers. Would you like to get involved? We're going to need master trainers. And I thought, what a great opportunity. I said, yeah, I'll do it. Richard goes, no, it's not going to be that easy, buddy. Like, you're going to have to do a lot of education.
Yeah.
You have to work really hard, and you're going to have to prove to us that you can be faculty. Well, I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll do it. Yeah, I'm your guy. He's like, no, I don't think you have to go through a lot. And I'm like, okay. So basically, I had proved myself to all the faculty and all the other people around the world that I could do it. Yeah. Thankfully, I had that happen. But that started the catalyst of how I thought differently about personal training.
Yeah.
Thing was, I structured my business around how it would be most beneficial to me as a trainer.
Yeah.
And when I got through the PTA Global information, what really stood out for me was that everything that we learned, everything that we did, was all based on the client. So I sat back and I went, well, why am I dictating all my policies, all my procedures, all my scheduling, all around what's going to work for me? I need to actually look at it through the perspective of the people that I'm actually training. What is it that they want? How do they want it? Why do they want it? When do they want it? And I took those things and I restructured my whole business around it. So that when I'm training multiple people at the same time, I can give them what they want, how they want it, why they want it, and when.
Yeah.
So that was really the catalyst of how I shifted my business.
And when did you do that, John?
I'll train my mornings.
When did you first do that?
I started doing that 3 years ago.
Okay, so you've been doing it for 3 years. Okay.
And how did your clients respond when you kind of changed the idea? Because they're used to having one-on-one sessions. What did they say when you said, right, this is my new plan? Or did you have to slowly introduce it into?
Yeah, it was a slow introduction, and I kind of did it in a bit of a humiliating way. For some people that I knew was going to be a bit of a conflict because I had been training them for so long one-on-one, then I actually, on purpose and just to test it out, I accidentally, so to speak, booked them at the same time as another client.
Okay, yeah.
And just went, oh, you know what, guys, I'm so sorry. I messed up my schedule. I didn't realize you were coming in today, or made myself look really dumb, right?
Yeah,
and I just said, how would you guys feel about exercising today together? Right? And for some people that I knew it was a struggle with, I did that. Other people, I just said, hey, would you be interested in working out with this person? Because they're already booked at that time.
Yeah.
So I kind of used scheduling and time of what was most important to them to kind of rearrange my schedule to get them together and to actually test it out.
Yeah.
So it started with 2, then it went to 3, then it went to 4, and then I came up, okay, this is working. I've got an idea how I'm going to do it. But the big thing behind it wasn't so much the scheduling, it was how was I going to manage training 4 different people with different goals, with different likes, with different personalities, all at the same time, right? And that's where I learned a lot of that education was from PTA Global, which just really gave me a structure more than anything.
Yeah, totally. And how do you find that clients respond then if they've got if they're new to a gym and they're with someone that's really quite fit and doing different exercises? Do you, you spoke about obviously playing games with them and things like that, getting them interactive with each other. Do you find that it's quite hard for some clients to take that on, or they all kind of settle in quite quickly?
I think the key point to it is being clear. I mean, clarity is key. So we set out the expectations in our previous consultations to find out, what do you want, where do you want it, all that stuff first. But really, it still comes down to their individual likes, wants, all that type of stuff. But so I guess what I'm saying is I had to spend time making sure that they were getting what they wanted.
Yeah.
And then meet the expectations on a daily basis. So they might tell me that their goal is weight loss, and they might be a beginner level client, versus this person's maybe over here is full performance and they're an advanced client. I just make it clear to them that whenever you come in and you're going to train, it's going to be your program. You don't have to feel obligated to do what they're doing. In fact, I might get the advanced person or the person that's maybe a little bit more of a really good coach and empower them to kind of help me out throughout the sessions.
Yeah.
So that makes them feel like, hey, I'm really good, and now I'm actually using my skills. So if I'm busy with this person over here, I might go, hey, Brian, do you mind getting them started on the Viper thread the needle? Yeah, no problem. And they'll go over there and they'll show
do
them
it
the
themselves.
exercise.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So it helps build a social community as well. Yeah, and I think that's what more my clients are looking for. I would say the average age of my client is, well into their late 30s at the youngest group. I do have some teenagers and some people in their 20s. So most of them are, they're in their 40s or older. I've got people in their 70s that train with me.
Yeah.
And age doesn't really matter because once you put them together, they already have a common interest, right? They're coming to the gym, they're working with a personal trainer. They might have different goals. When you create that social atmosphere, they all become friends and they enjoy it and they have a really good vibe, right?
Yeah.
And what my client said the other day, we were working, and we had one of my clients paid a significant amount of money towards a charity. In return, it was a charity that our company was running. In return, he got to train me for 2 sessions.
Okay.
Turned
it around.
Whatever he wanted to do, right? And so we're working out together, and I've got 2 other clients going. So now I'm a client of my clients, but I'm also working out with one of my clients. So they're giving input into him what they should do with me, and we're basically all training together. Her words for this is a really cool vibe today. I really did. This is awesome, right?
Yeah.
So I think motion is emotion, right? And emotion helps create motion. So when you're all having a good time and having fun, I mean, it's great because nobody's unhappy. No one's really concerned with, I'm not getting
what I want. Yeah, totally.
If you always meet your expectations daily.
Have you had anyone that has done Have you had anyone, John, that has been really upset and angry and they've said that this isn't for them, or have you found you managed to overcome every client that you've had?
Absolutely. Yeah, so when I built my policies, I kind of broke it down into you can have private training, which is one-on-one time, or you can have group training, which can be up to 8 people at the same time. There's a discount in there, so you're going to pay $20 less per session to do that. And the time that you sign up, we can always change your agreement back and forth. So if you buy group training, then we'll just prorate the value of your account towards private training. So in some cases, I've had people that said, you know what, I think private training would be better for me. No problem. You're going to have a restricted number of hours that I do private training. But if that's more important to you, then that's the way that we'll go. So you're always meeting their expectation. I've also had some people that said, I can only come at this time, and that's when you're doing group training, but I want that one-on-one attention. Then I say, you know what, I can't be that person for you because my business is just crazy and I won't be able to do that, and I want to give you what you want. Let me set you up with a trainer that's going to give you lots of one-on-one attention. And so I've turned some of my clients over to some other trusted colleagues that I work with.
So I think that's really important what you mentioned there, is that clients are working to your diary rather than you're working towards theirs, and that's what we're really trying to implement in the PT handbook. People are working too hard for too long hours, and you want
try to get the client to have what they want to achieve from that session, but also structure it around a structured day. So I mean, what would your usual day look like, John?
I would start in the morning and usually have a few clients, and then I spend the rest of kind of like the early or late morning and early afternoon prepping presentations and workshops and travel and things like that. I'm doing my continuing education, so I'm always either reading or researching or having my own little workout. And then towards the latter part of the day, so late afternoon and early evening, is when I do all my group personal training.
Okay.
So my days for like the last 13 years have usually been over 12, 13 hours a day. But that's who I am. I'm used to that.
Yeah. But I mean, you mentioned obviously you're presenting now, which is obviously fantastic. That's how we met you. And I remember chatting to you then. You said you'd done, I think, 36 sessions in the 2 days because you've managed to do it through a group training schedule. So I mean, how does it work then? How do your clients feel when you go off and you do your presenting for PTA Global? Do they carry on, or do you kind of just structure them around you traveling around?
Yeah. So in some cases, some of the trainers really like working with a personal trainer. So I'm going to be going to Phoenix next week. I scheduled some of them with some other trainers. Other ones, then we'll just map out kind of what they're going to work on. I had one client that actually, she spends her winter in Phoenix, and it was probably the coolest experience. Was she said, you know, this is the equipment that I have to work out in the little condo building that I live in. She goes, could you write me up a program? And I'd been working with this lady for like 2-3 years, so I just said, well, why don't you tell me what you would do? And so I just switched the table on her, right? And I said, so you have a free motion machine cable unit, awesome. Why don't you show me 10 exercises that you can do with it?
Yeah, okay.
And so I gave her a couple little rules and what I would kind of make up in my head is how I would think about building a program for her, and I shared that with her. And she put together like the best program I've seen for her. I was like, I would do that program. That was amazing. Like, it was logical. It made sense. She did assisted squats to start. So she put the cables down by her waist and was assisting her. Then she put them here to resist her. It was like, that was the most brilliant logical move ever. So like, that's the kind of thing that I'm into now. Is I'm not interested in, you know, some people might buy large packages of personal training, but ultimately I view myself as a coach more than a personal trainer.
Yeah,
My goal is to get you on your own and get you feeling comfortable so that you can learn how to exercise anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the gym.
Yeah.
So when I go away, most of them are pretty confident that they know what they're doing unless they've just started with me, and those people, I'll kind of guide them a bit.
Okay, cool.
So talking numbers, John, since you've started the group training, compared to the one-on-one, how has that improved your business financially? If you don't mind me asking.
The first 6 months after I switched from personal training, I increased my income. So let's say it this way. I started in June of 2010, I think is when I started it. And by the end of 2010, I had increased my yearly revenue by $50,000.
Wow, yeah, okay. That's significant.
The following year, to that, I added another $50,000 to my revenue.
It's incredible.
So up to this point, it seems like I'm constantly increasing the amount of money that I'm making. But here's the kicker: I'm taking more vacation now.
Yeah.
So last year, I said my wife do up the numbers. I made more money last year than I did the previous year, which I had already increased by $50,000. But I took almost 100 days off on vacations, doing certifications and teaching. So it was 100 days that I was away more than what I would, well, I guess 100 days out of the year I was away teaching, doing vacations, certifications, and I still earn more money.
And you put that down to your group training?
Pardon me?
Do you put that down to restructuring and introducing the group training?
Yeah, so what the biggest thing that I had to shift and change was I had to change my compensation plan. So what I did was I had to meet with the people that I work for, and I had to basically say, in the last 5 years I haven't had a raise, I haven't changed my compensation plan. I didn't change actually what I charged. So I changed what I charged, and I just manipulated the numbers so that I was getting paid what I felt would be my time per unit invested. And that's how I kind of look at it now.
Yeah.
So I look at it as, if I'm going to train for an hour, what is the amount of time that I would need in that hour to be worth my time to train in that hour?
Yeah.
Then I had to look at it from the client's perspective. What would be a valuable fee to charge that would meet their expectations, that I would be okay training with many other people with for that number, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be different for everybody, because they're all going to have their own value, and you guys with your company, you're going to have a different way of how you would structure things and what percentage you're going to pay the trainer out of what they're paying. So really, that's how I looked at it. It comes down to the value of yourself, you feel your worth, but also the value that the client's willing to pay for that experience.
Yeah,
so
I
I
think
don't
that's really
do like
important.
a half. Like if you pay 50, you pay 25. It's a smaller discount, but I had to do it based on not devaluing myself or my own personal abilities, because I feel actually more confident training more than one person in providing a great experience than I do providing that one-on-one.
Yeah. I think one of the things that the PTs that are going to be looking at this are going to wonder is how do the other trainers in the gym that you work at, how did they react to you starting to do this as a business model? Did they kind of introduce this as well? Or, I mean, because obviously you're going to be then having more clients at one time while they may be doing a one-to-one session.
More space as well.
More space used, etc.
Yeah, the training space that we use, like I never would have been able to do this prior to 4 years ago. We added an extensive addition onto our training facility, where before we were in the general population of the club. So it was tough because it's hard to train two people in, 5 square feet of space.
Yeah.
So we decided to actually take out one of our swimming pools and then just cover it in and have that area just as a personal training, like a small personal training studio.
Yeah.
So it's 2,300 square feet in there, and we have anywhere from 10 to 20 personal trainers working at any given time. So it can get busy in there, but we just learned to adapt, right? It was survival of the fittest. It was, hey, we're going to work in this little area, where are you going to be? And so like any good coach, I mean, it's, if you're on the football pitch and you have different coaches doing different things with everybody, you just learn how to work together.
Yeah,
right? It wasn't
work
that
as a
big of a
team.
deal. In fact, more of them are doing what I'm doing now. So
yeah, so if you work in a smaller area, maybe then think about only having a less amount of clients as a group training session or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, totally.
Can you explain, because people always start at different times, so from what I understand, when you mentioned in San Diego, they don't all start at 12 o'clock when you have 4 in a session. Can you explain that process for us?
Yeah, so one of the issues I was having was that we as an industry we're trying to be like the appointment Nazis, if you will. Like, you got to start at 12, and then it's got to be 12:30, and then 1 o'clock or what have you, and it's always on the hour. And if you're 3 minutes late, then you're like this, or if you're 2 minutes late because you ran over with someone that was having a real tough day, then they're like, why am I not starting at 12? So I just thought, that's ridiculous. Like, we're here to exercise and to have fun and to have a good time. So why are we trying to treat everybody like, like time is the most important thing on earth? So what I did is I said, if you do group personal training between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m., come whenever you want. You have to book with me so I can expect that you're going to be there. And if you don't show up, I'm going to charge you for it.
Yeah.
But if your time's at 4 and you show up at 4:15, awesome.
Yeah.
No stress. Just come in and start. So what I do is I teach them their movement preparation. They're going to get taught on, I might take them over to the power plate. This is what your movement prep routine is going to look like. Just come on over, press start, the settings, start stretching, right?
Yeah.
Start doing your mobilizers. So when I come around to see them, I might already be into my goal-based workout with my client.
Yeah.
And then I'll come over to them and I'll ask them about their day. We'll do a daily readiness observation.
Okay.
Are you in pain? Do you have any stiffness?
Yeah.
Are you restricted physically? Are you restricted? What was your lifestyle like? Did you eat well today? Did you hydrate well?
Yeah.
What was your quality of your sleep? Like, how much sleep did you get? And then I might even ask them, are you motivated? Are you ready to be here? Did you have a crazy day?
And that will plan what you're doing,
That'll
yeah?
help me determine how much load I'm going to put.
Yeah. And
Sorry, what did you say?
I just said, and that then obviously, if someone isn't feeling great that day, you kind of change the session around that, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So then they might come in at 4 o'clock, they might come at 4:15, but they know what to expect. So they just come walking in, get started, and then I'll come up to them, and then we just tweak their program. So I've got, people here, and I just, boom, I hit them like this.
Yeah.
And what that did for them is it helped me be able to book more people at once.
Yeah.
So if I start at 4:15, 4:45, then I'm not worried about, okay, I'm having 2 at this time, 2 at this time, 2 at this time, 2 at this time. So by the time some of them finish their goal-based workout, they're already into their cool down while other guys are starting like this, and it was like this, right?
And do you have a time limit then how long they train for?
Assembly. Yeah. It was great because then it just made them also feel like they didn't have to rush to get there.
Yeah, okay.
And I think what I like about that the most is that not only are they not rushed, but they're going to get what they want when they want, the way they want it.
Yeah.
And that's key for developing a business, right? Like, you have to cater to the client. You have to be willing to sacrifice some things.
Yeah.
But the policies and procedures that you put in have to benefit the client.
Yeah.
More so than it benefits you.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's a perceived value thing, right?
Yeah. So I mean, if someone came in at 4:15, would you then train them for a certain amount of time, or do you kind of just go through the program, see how they're feeling, and it's kind of like 45 minutes? Because over here, it's very much you train for an hour, or you train for 45 minutes, or it's a dead time, right? Your time's up. Do you have a set time with them, or you just say no, come along and train?
Yeah, I'm going to be there from 4 till 8 p.m., let's say that day. So it doesn't make a difference to me if they want to stay longer or if they have a shorter program. It's all going to be based on how they're feeling that day. So me as the professional, I'm going to dictate that.
Yeah.
But I need their feedback as to how they're feeling. Do you want some more? Where are we today? And so if they had a really tough day, then I'm going to just say, you know what? We're going to stick to maybe this number of exercises. This is the amount of volume you're going to do. Here's the tempo that we're going to work out. We're going to spend more time doing cool down and recovery. And from that, that was the beautiful thing. I learned all that from the PTA Global Advanced course. I mean, that was one of the smartest things I ever did. Because it gave me the structure and the ability to be able to tweak all that, like this. So
totally, yeah.
It's thinking on the spot. It's important when you're doing the group sessions. Can you just explain from a PT's perspective of the initial consultations? So you get a new guy that comes in, I want to do personal training. They obviously most probably have heard about you now because you've built a reputation from doing these cool PT group sessions. How would you do a consultation? Would you do that during the group session as well?
Yeah, I would spend more one-on-one time with them during the consultation. That's the time where I need to build rapport with them, really get to feel, like, let them feel it out and understand it. Because a lot of the people that are coming to see me, they haven't done exercise in forever. So it's sometimes an intimidating environment. When you walk them into the back room and there's like so many trainers in there and there's so many people and they're just like, what's happening? So I spend a lot more time doing, I guess I kind of structure it with my bookings so that if they're just started, I'll do my consultations one-on-one. Then I might do their first little workout one-on-one. Then I might introduce them to maybe only one other person, and then just kind of go from there. So it's a little bit more progressive so they understand the whole concept of what is this train, what is this group training.
Yeah.
So I might sacrifice a little bit in what I get paid for the first few sessions, but in the long term, they're happier.
Yeah, they've had that personal approach from the beginning. Then they learn, obviously, how you train, most of your clients. Okay, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up today. Love what you've told us about the group sessions, John. And if you could let the PT Handbook crew know your Twitter address and your YouTube videos, because we watch them all the time, and again, really beneficial in terms of learning. So can you share that with us?
My Twitter account?
Yeah.
Twitter is JS Master Trainer.
And your YouTube or anything? Or?
And YouTube is, what is my YouTube? John Sinclair 3442.
Okay, brilliant.
We'll be posting that up on our blog to go with this video as well. So if you guys missed it, then you can get it by clicking on the link.
Are you coming over to London soon, or?
I don't have anything scheduled so far. I was going to come up to the Fit Pro convention, but turns out I'm going to be presenting here in Edmonton. So I'm going to stay at home and got asked to present at this one. So I won't be up there yet. There's a rumor that I might be doing a golf holiday, so I might have to head up that way.
Yeah, totally.
So you're more than welcome to come see us as well when you're here.
I'll definitely be doing that.
But before we go, John, if you could give 3 tips that you would give to any personal trainer in the business of how they can improve their business for 2013.
I'll do a countdown. Number 3 is you got to be willing to build a tracking system of all of your business. So me, I do it in Microsoft Excel. So I track all my training clients. I track what I'm going to make. I track how much I'm going to make every day, and then how that sets up into my goal setting for the month. So if I need to know how much money I need to make at the end of the month, I got to work it backwards, and then that helps me with my booking process. So you have to really learn that. Maybe we could talk about that the next time. Yeah. The second thing is you have to really be willing to sacrifice some personal and professional conveniences. Personal training is not an easy job. It's not an easy career to build. It's even, in fact, very difficult to be really profitable in this business. Yeah. But you have to be willing to put in long hours and long days when you first start your business, as though it's any business. You guys know that. And then eventually things will start to pay off for you. Yeah. And then the number one thing for me is education. You have to constantly be improving your skill sets, your knowledge, your skills, your abilities, and you need to learn structures. So for me, obviously, being involved with PTA Global, PowerPlate, Viper, Techno Gym, Hyperwear, and being faculty for PTA Global, Institute of Motion, I mean, getting involved with as many people to learn from many different people just helps you, and I think it helps you stay engaged as a trainer. For me, a lot of my spare time is spent, trying to improve my skills. I try to maintain whatever I do really well at, and whatever I'm not as confident and I spend time working on it. So those, I think, are the key points that you need to always be immersing yourself into is education, track your business, and be willing to sacrifice to make your business grow.
Yeah, I think you said hit the nail on the head with the structure and trying to get into some of the biggest, should we say, institutes in our industry. And yeah, totally. When you first start off, you've got to put the hours in and try to then obviously go down that path or career or business that you want to go down to. So I mean, I think that's all the questions for today, John.
Yeah, been a really big thank you for being on air with us.
Yeah,
and, we'll be coming back to you with a different subject next time.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for letting me do this. I can't wait to talk to some more of your trainers.
Yeah, totally. Okay, John, have a good day, mate.
We'll see you soon.
Take care.
See you guys.
Wow, that was fantastic. Great interview with John Sinclair. And we just wanted to go through a few of the points in case that the fuzziness of the sound was a bit off.
So John at the end mentioned there was 3 key points of what he would recommend for all you guys to kind of add into your business. The first one was being structure. I think it's really important just to get everything planned, looking at your week ahead.
Totally, yeah, he said a lot about that, didn't he? The structuring of the Excel spreadsheets, knowing when your sessions are, how much he's going to earn per day, he mentioned. Some people do it weekly, some people do it monthly. I think, the closer you can to the day, to the hour, is only going to improve your business.
I think the key point he made as well was set yourself a goal and then work backwards towards it. So he said, I want to make this much money, and he planned backwards. And that's what we will be talking about a lot over the next coming weeks, is planning and structure of your business.
Yeah, and creating a good business plan. You can only create a good business plan if you know what the end goal is. And like Harry just said, we'll go through that in a few other blogs, and we'll catch up with John, who mentioned a lot about PTA Global, which is available in Europe now. We, through Number One Fitness and the PT Handbook, are heavily involved with Core Fitness Education. They're a great education company, written by doctors, and the courses are all run by very, very experienced trainers. So do check out Core Fitness Education. He also mentioned if starting off in the industry, put the hours in. Now, we see a lot of trainers that aren't really sure how to pick up clients or when to work. I mean, we both started off in a mainstream gym, and we were there all hours of the day.
Be there, put yourself out in the gym and let people see you. I think the biggest mistake that a lot of trainers do, they'll do their sessions and they'll go home or they'll go on lunch. Make yourself available and make your face shown.
Yeah,
totally. You'll pick up clients a lot quicker that way.
Yeah, and once you then have the business and have the clients, and then, like you said, structure it. But he also mentioned continued education, and that's a massive thing, to continue to know what's going on in the industry. And I think what he was trying to get across is bring yourself into circles of like-minded people. The industry leaders that are thinking like you are. Approach them. No one's gonna not want someone that's like-minded in their team. And John is massive in Canada and the States. He's faculty for a lot of big companies.
And as you can see, that he's happy to help as well. These guys who are at top of the industry, they're willing to help, and they want other trainers to kind of succeed and be like they are.
Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed that, and myself and Harry will be back soon. So do check out pthandbook.com and give us your comments.
See you soon.
Thanks.